Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our next live episode of the Garage Podcast. Tonight, panel is Shane Leakless Boss,
Yeah, welcome to another night of the garage.
myself, Michael, and the executive producer, Michael Porter, is going to be joining us. Yeah, so tonight's topic is political fears, right? All right, so currently now in the US, we have a new administration, which is the Donald Trump administration. Um, and there's a new government department, which is called Doge, Doge, aka Department of Government Efficiency, and it's headed by Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, also Twitter, currently known as X. So Soji, Doge, right? So Doge just discovered what Doge was this organized to do is to seek out or monitor government spending, right? It's like they're in charge of the budget, of the government budget. So there's a department which is referred to as U.S. aid.
Yeah, we know about that.
You're aware of it? So USAID is United States Agency for International Development. So this department loans funds or contribute or donate funds to international countries. Right? And Doge just discovered that that department is wasting and abusing government funds.
Well, what can you say? I think with the whole waste and you know government funds can be used especially on that scale because it's used basically for countries that are part of the United Nations, which USA is involved in, basically to aid countries when they're in times of distress, right?
Such as a natural disaster.
Such as natural disaster and stuff like that. So, in terms of in terms of aiding other countries, because end of the day, there's so many countries around the world, right? And end of the day, if you try to be father to everybody, it's gonna cost you. And I think that's where Trump is saying that we shouldn't be fathering everybody. We should focus
Right.
on what's really going on in America and try to fix what's really going on in America. So I can't really blame him on that, but at the same time, when you have allies, you have to render support. Because when we talk about even our small country, Jamaica, if we wasn't a part of the United Nations, when certain stuff happen within what you call considered as natural disasters and stuff like that, where Jamaica would really get help from. Because no matter how you save, and I would even say that either because I me personally think say countries can save that money or should have that money put aside once you become independent. So once you gain independence, after a certain period of time, you're supposed to have certain amount of money put away in your treasury, in your vault, or whatever they keep, wherever they keep the money, right? So this thi- this this 500 million US, this whatever, this billion US is to keep in case of, same like what our grandmother used to tell we when we are grown, save for rainy day.
Alright, so let me explain, right? So the US Department, US aid, right? So that department, when they donate funds, right, they donate funds to like country like Egypt. On a monthly basis, they donate 6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. The next 2 million for sex exchange and LGBT activism in Guatemala. And next 1.5 for transgender comic book in Peru. So what Doge is saying is that the spending
It's a waste.
is a waste, and I agree.
Me personally agree. Well, what I personally agree, you know what I'm saying, because those stuff, I understand to a certain extent, and you know sometimes you try to see things from their point of view and understand things from their point of view, and you know, but we talk about LGBTQ. You know, bash anybody, everybody are trying to live them life, everybody entitled to live them life, or they want to live them life. Right? But when you're going to send so much money in our country.
But this is on a monthly basis.
On a monthly basis. For what? To do what? What are they doing? Opening for housing, what? What is the money? They just giving it to them, to the community?
But listen, I said 1.5 for transgender comic book.
So those are to print articles saying, okay, what about transgender?
The next 2.5 for electric vehicle in Vietnam. Look, y'all follow the conversation, right?
I'm following. We have a priority mix up when it comes to the U.S. government. Our priority is completely screwed up.
We are talking about the U.S. government or
U.S. government structure pertaining to how we govern this country financially. It is screwed up. We have.
So you're agreeing with Donald Trump then?
With what? I agree with Donald Trump to a certain extent. However, based on what he's doing, is foolishness. Based on him and his boys, Moss and all those other boys, it's foolishness.
Mike.
But it's
what we are talking about the funds. And if you're going to have so much funds being allocated every month, those stuff are not important. How are those stuff important? And what does that say about the US? How that is benefiting? In the case where the money is going to Egypt for the tourism, is it a case where the money from the tourism in Egypt, when it's collected, it comes back to the US?
No.
So what's the sense?
So what they did was they created certain business and certain avenues to get the money out the country and then reroute it to their bank account. You get it?
Who that?
Who do you think? Who do you think?
That's the only reason I would see.
I would not have a problem, right? If
I was working. If
I were one of the beneficiary from the USA, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I see where RY Trump are the DOJ, not DOJ, Doge Department of Government Efficiency, is paying attention to this, because most of these things don't make no sense. Why would I send $6 million a month to fund tourism in Egypt? Why?
If it's a case where the money is coming back to America, right? What if the money is not coming back to America?
It's not an investment.
It's not an investment.
There is no
return.
Yeah.
But remember I said before, and I'm going to elaborate and articulate how as possibly. The thing is, this government financial system, financial leadership, it's completely screwed up.
Which government? U.S. government?
We are talking to the U.S. government, nobody else.
Okay.
We have Ukraine as an example. That was one of the biggest hit we are getting on our sides. That the uppercut.
No, but listen, whereas in Ukraine, I mean just that explain to Michael say, look at our country, Jamaica, as a small country, whereas in the US aid come in and help us in terms of natural disasters. So we can understand when you have allies, you have to look out for your allies. But to what extent? So I understand so Ukraine running a difficulty with Russia and the war and whatever. Right? People need help, people need food, shelter and whatever for rebuild and all different kind of stuff. So I understand. But when you have monthly payments that go to people, how does that make sense?
You know the funniest thing,
department that they transfer funds to on a monthly basis, the next 1.5, it goes to Colombia for transgender opera. So transgender opera is
sure.
Yeah.
We go and sit down and watch. Entertainment by transgenders.
And that came from your party.
My party.
Yeah, the Democratic Party.
Listen, as I said before, as much as I'm with that party, a lot of foolishness they were doing.
But not just
your boy, well, Trump in itself is not everything I despise or hate or I disagree with him about. There's structures, like for instance, I mean, it's kind of minor, but where he signed that petition where these transgenders, they cannot participate in female sport.
They can't.
You have an advantage. You
can't.
So, I mean, these are little things I agree with him. Right now, some of the states, they're saying that they are going to follow the state laws based on that. So they're still going to allow these transgender to be a part of these sports.
But it can't make sense. So just imagine now, you have your daughter, and she says she had to swimming, right? And then somebody else, I feed them son now, where think him is a girl, right? Decides him I'm going to do the surgery and now, transform himself into a female and still have male strength. He might break the record.
Precisely, and that's one of the things where they try to throw through the window. But not to drift, the financial structure of this country, for instance, Ukraine, let me touch on that. I don't disagree. We, as a person, like to help. I mean, the USIC.
Yeah, but you don't need to send $1 trillion.
Okay, and I'm going to get to that. There is, I think about, so far to my knowledge, about 20 countries in the world that is wealthy, right? Even though U.S. has the Ukraine as one of their allies, they're not the only one can help Ukraine. Somehow the government here feels, I don't know what is it, they feel that they are the only one can shoulder these things. You have, again, about 28 countries out there are wealthy. Each country, U.S. can say, all right, I give $1 billion, you give $1 billion, you give $1 billion. When you come to it, at the end of the day, it's like $20 billion they can use.
That's more than enough to reconstruct.
And that's probably more than enough to read. So why in the world this government decide to take on this? And here's the problem, the main problem what I have. You have homelessness. You know the statistic on homelessness right now, especially in PA?
No, I didn't check it.
You have people, even though this country is wealthy, you have people are going through poverty here.
Of course.
So it's like Mike have his son, right? I have my son. And my son is in a sense of dying. Mike's son has a cold. And I'm going to abandon my son to go and help take care of Mike's son, which has a cold.
It don't make sense, right?
Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, this is surprising to me coming from you because you kind of champion those people.
It showed that I I'm a person of principle. It doesn't matter what the case may be.
If you're a person of principle, you would understand what the president is doing.
Yeah, but we understand certain stuff in our mind, but not everything that the president is doing is right.
Not saying we have to agree with it. All right, let's touch the tariff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the president just placed what 25% tariff on
Canada,
tariff
Mexico,
fee, and
15% on China.
10% on China.
10? Okay.
Yeah, 10% on China.
And China slapping
20,
back 15%.
Why if it slap back? 25% on Mexico and the next 25% on Canada, right?
Which Canada also tell them, but they suspended for now. It was paused for now for 2 months.
So it's paused.
Right.
All right. So what do you think? What do you think about that?
What I think about it is that the U.S. is trying to start unnecessary war. War in the sense of financial war. Number one.
Economical war.
Well, yes, economical war. What in the world, I mean, you are starting a economical war on Canada for what? Canada is helping, Canada is helping the U.S. a whole lot.
Oh.
Fossil fuel. You have Mexico is lumber.
No, we have to pay for that.
What?
We have to pay for that.
Yeah, but it's
Canada is lumber.
Yeah, Canada is lumber too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Canada
Mexico is mostly agriculture.
Right. And you know the last time when Trump, your boy, fired back on China in the agriculture side, these farmers have started suffering. Because when China say, okay, this is the game you want to play, I'm going to slap you with some tariff on your side. Just like matter of fact, he's the one who kicked it off. And the farmers are started pleading with Trump, stop this foolishness because we are the farmers here that providing for this land is getting hurt. But guess what? As what my mom said, you go to one ears and come to the other. So the country started going in a agriculture turmoil.
So what you're basically saying that, Mike, America can sustain itself?
America is strong enough to sustain itself, but I'm saying that they depend. America is wealthy, but it doesn't mean that because they're wealthy, they don't need sources.
Listen. Let me explain something to you, right? So Canada and Mexico ships 80% of their export goods to the U.S. 80%. Mm-hmm. So they need the U.S. market. The U.S.
need their market as well.
No, and I hear people complain about avocados. They grow avocados in Florida, in California. They grow avocados in California.
It's a seasonal thing when it comes to certain fruits and certain plantation here. It's right around the clock when it comes to.
With the increase of knowledge, they grow every fruit and every vegetable all year round in America.
And what you call that?
Huh?
It's
genetically modified food. I get that, but that's what the people are consuming, right?
No, I can avoid that. Which the fact that when Canada and Mexico send these things, these are natural organic stuff. No, why I want to put these?
Not all the time.
What?
Not all the time.
Not all the time. What?
I mean, if you're a farmer in Mexico, right, and you have the opportunity to invest and plan genetically modified food, so you're going to do it.
I'm not saying they probably want it, but they have the culture, the soil, the structure. U.S. now, I would see fall in the structure where they would push towards these things because of their structure of their soil. I can understand that, but at the same time, they still have the ability to avoid these things with these genetically modified foods. The thing is, they are trying to be cheap. No, look what they're coming out with. They started putting lion meat, and now they reached the point, England reached the point where they started taking human tissues and turn it into meat kind where they can put on the shelf and sell. This is nonsense. This is crazy. And eventually it will reach to the U.S. and the U.S. will follow those patterns because of what? They are trying to reserve and they're trying to save funds for what God only knows.
No, so all right. So before we stray, right? Let me ask you, Shane. So the tariff that President Donald Trump placed on Mexico, how do you think it affect the America in a negative way? How does it affect us negatively?
Same thing we might just say.
Avocados?
Not only avocados.
What?
Or time zone is different, right? And our time zone only allow you to do certain stuff at certain time. So whereas in where the time zone changes, right? And the weather changes, right? You're gonna need those organic stuff, not only avocado, we are talking about fruits and vegetables, if you come in for serve the large population.
Yeah, but we produce that here though in the US.
Yeah, but not all organic. So if the case where America is going to say, okay, they're gonna increase the tariff on Mexico, they must have a solution, and the solution can't be to increase the genetic modified fruits and vegetables.
Separate and apart from people who are vegans and vegetarian, who really pays attention to
not only people who are vegan.
No,
vegan
I'm
and
not
vegetarian.
saying they're the only one who pays attention to what they're consuming, but separate and apart from them, who else really pays attention to the food in the supermarket or the grocery store?
Me,
to see if it's, I mean, you're like a vegetarian, right? So you're not included.
I'm explain
Let's talk
something.
to the guy who eat a lot of curry goat.
I'm explain something. We explain something. When we go Trader Joe's, right?
Yeah.
I go thing there.
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Where you see the people really look pan.
So
you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in the black community, a lot of people might really not pay attention to those stuff because who them not care. A sweet pepper that.
Tell me which black community or black neighborhood there's a Trader Joe's or there's a Whole Foods.
But that's what I'm saying to you. So we not really pay attention. You know, the few in our community we really pay attention to that. But when we go outside, we'll go to New Rochelle, we'll go White Plains.
Right.
You understand? We go Briarcliff, man, we go all of them places. When you see the people going into the supermarket, what are they buying?
Look,
they're not even paying attention to the food.
Let me show you again. We go upstate Connecticut. Most of those people, when they have farm sale, and you see them pack out.
Those are local farmers, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. But when the local farmers,
they use genetically modified seeds to grow their plant.
Some of them.
The majority.
Some of them. But at the same time, right? A lot of people from those communities prefer that kind of fruits and vegetables because they know where it's coming from and they know the process of how it was produced.
Yeah. Which is better.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look at this. Your statement you made pertaining to who's looking at it. That was at one point. You have people now because of
everyone is health conscious now.
Consciously, yes.
Not true.
Consciously,
not true.
Consciously,
not true. Because McDonald's and them places still make millions of dollars.
Yeah, they're still making it, but it doesn't mean that. I mean, for instance, when last you buy a McDonald's? Maybe 6 months ago.
For me alone, McDonald's then go bankrupt.
When last you buy?
They go bankrupt.
Right? When last you buy? From them.
Me never buy McDonald's.
You never bought before. You never bought it.
I buy McDonald's. I most for some like for me youth, but me other friend, but not for me personally.
Youth, why you giving your youth garbage? And
no, like listen, when my son is around, my bigger son, when he's around, right? Remember, you know, he might grow up, and at the same time we can't really push everything on him at once.
Yeah, you don't want to push your way of life on them.
So you have to give them a chance for experience and understand and show them the difference. So I say to my son, okay then, if and when you're going to have McDonald's, it only can be once for the week. So me allow him to have a choice of fast food, whichever it is, one time for the week. So if he might choose McDonald's or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so here's the contradiction which both of you guys are throwing on the table. You still, regardless if you push once a week, once a month, once a year or stuff like that, you are still supporting the foolishness, what you claim that is unhealthy, which is a McDonald's food, right? This is why they still stay rich. Now, if, for instance, for myself and with my kids, at the end of the day, I don't really necessarily go out there and buy McDonald's for them. However, they do eat it occasionally. But when I go to the supermarket or anywhere else, it's specifically natural, organic stuff I try to push on them.
But at the
and
same
I try
time,
to push it on myself as well.
But at the same time, that just as Mike say.
But I'm not.
Within my
I'm
household,
not putting any plans for them to okay, once a month you get.
No, because guess why? You see, when them goes, you have to understand the Mike. With the world where we live in right now, right? So you have to make them get the knowledge first, and them have the knowledge, then they have the understanding. So if them a go to school and them see them friend, I eat McDonald's, KFC, Wendy's, all these stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I remember,
you can't ask questions.
They advertise a lot, They spend millions of dollars on advertisement.
Questions.
That
Why?
works.
You cannot control everything what you can, especially if they start reaching 17, 15.
Yeah, we don't want to control kids. That's not our intention.
So you have to teach them.
So you're comparing genetically modified food versus organic food. Do you know that if you have 1% of something organic into something that is not organic, the USDA give permission to label it as organic. For example, you have genetically modified lime or lemon, right? And you make a container of lemonade and you squeeze just a tot of organic lime in it. It's considered organic. You can label it as that. You get permission from the USDA to label it as that. Yeah.
I am not gonna.
And when you read the label, it clearly states from concentrate, so and so, artificial flavoring and all of that. But on the front, there's in bold writing, it says organic.
Organic Now, piggybacking all of that, I can control what they doing out there, right?
Yep,
I'm gonna do the best to my knowledge. Like for instance, as what you said, I go down and I read when I'm going to the supermarket. I read these labels and stuff like that, and some of them are where they create this what the word I'm looking for, this illusion of the product itself. Like the example what you use, you squeeze a dot of organic inside of it, and then the rest is genetically, and it becomes organic in itself. Yeah. I can't, it's just like eating vegetarian, stuff like that. Sometimes being a vegetarian and eating these processed food is worse than you sitting there eating.
I agree.
Your curry goat and your oxtail and stuff like that. So, as you're looking at it, you have to know, taking it in consideration, or to look upon yourself and say, let me do, like for instance, for myself, I do best what I can control. And even with some of the stuff, because if you listen to everything, you don't eat.
Yeah, well, you can't completely eliminate the poison. You have to minimize the amount you consume. You can't completely eliminate the amount of poison you consume.
Yeah, you can.
You minimize it. Unless you're going to go back home,
And even if you go
to live in the hills.
And that's what you probably going to wind up to.
Eat what you grow and grow what you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a difference. But so my argument is that we really don't need to import anything. Not saying we should not, but we really don't need to import anything from these two countries. We can sustain ourselves.
To a certain extent.
Remember now, they export 80% of their 80% of their export comes to America. So who needs who?
Not because they export 80%. It's probably a possibility that that's what America want to sustain themselves. You ever consider that too?
What do we get from Mexico?
The 80% what they shipped over here and what they send over here.
So let me tell you.
That's probably what
let me tell you why
requires.
It comes up to 80%, right? So between America and Canada, between America, Canada, and Mexico, there's a free trade agreement. You know what free trade is, right? So they do not pay a fee for anything that's being imported from
Canada to the US.
Right. They don't pay a fee. So if the US was supposed to say, oh, Jamaica, 25% or 50% tariff fee, right? I would say, okay, no problem. And I'll call President Shane. Shane, I have so and so, and the US is charging me 50% to import it. Can I come through Mexico or Canada? And I'll say, I'll give you, a 2% off of it. And you say, yeah. So that's how the US, that's how countries like China and other countries beat the system.
But here's the crazy part of it.
And come through
when Trump was in power, he was targeting China alone, which was paying their fee. And he left Canada and Mexico still on their free range trading, right? Is that correct? Right. Exactly. So now all of a sudden, why now you decide, the funniest thing,
because he found a loophole.
No, the loophole was been there. The loophole been there for the last 1,000 years. What are you talking about? Trump came in power in 2016, and he saw, because he brought it up to Congress. He saw it, and he left it alone. And he started focusing on China because China was not agreeing with the foolishness he wanted to do. So because of he was not agreeing.
I think it was because of
he wanted to retaliate on China, and China said, "Go ahead and do whatever."
The big C. I think it was because of the big C that was getting everyone sick. Yeah, I mean the focus was pretty much on that by every country.
It can't. That wasn't the case.
Yeah, that was the only focus.
Why? How that was the only focus?
When the big C came out, I mean everyone was just unaliving.
I don't know what. Sometimes I think you just crawl under some rock. When Trump going in power, 2016, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when the big C.
2019.
4 years, almost 4 years after, right? And so you took 4 years to recognize the big C and say the big C was the problem.
No, I mean, he was doing a lot. He was doing a lot, and then that came about. So that's why the focus was really on China. You have to understand, China imports the most into the US. They import
because
everything.
They are advanced nation. Everything. China,
because we are a nation of consumers and they're a nation of manufacturers. They manufacture every and anything.
If China should decide to say, you know what, I am going to shut everything down from the US, the US economy would collapse.
Not true. I disagree.
Moving right along.
I think so too.
Why?
I think, as I said, he's living under some rock. I don't know what.
Because you look, the demand, America cannot maintain. Well, they're not structured to maintain the demand. And when you're not structured to maintain the demand, you have to rely on outsiders.
Like, be specific. The demand of what? Like, give us a specific product.
Specific product.
Yeah.
Technology.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. Most of the cars in America, other than from Ford, Chevy, right? Understand what I'm saying?
Alright, so you're talking about Toyotas.
Exactly.
Toyota, Honda.
It's because it's more affordable, right?
Nissan.
It's more reliable, it's more affordable.
It's more affordable and reliable.
It's both. Okay. Mm-hmm. So check this out, Let's say the US does not import any Toyotas or Hondas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have car manufacturers in
we
the
have
US?
a few.
Okay.
But nobody don't buy them. The US,
yes, but
US citizens
we
here.
would have to. We would have to. And the president would make sure it's more affordable. Because, check this out, right? If I'm the only one who's selling cars, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone in the US is buying cars from me, from this manufacturer, the car they would be cheaper.
You see, this is where I mentioned where if China should block everything, the US would collapse. Let me piggyback off my own saying. Now, using your same scenario, if, say, China do that and then US started saying, okay, we have a few manufacturers here, which the cars, most of them are garbage, right? So you started forcing and say, okay, we have no choice of buying these cars. because the cars are built poorly. What do you think is going to happen? If I'm spending $5,000-$10,000 to fix a car.
What do you mean built poorly?
The cars, the Ford.
Yeah.
You have GMC. You have all these. Most of the cars, they are built poorly. They don't last for over.
That's your opinion.
It's not opinion. It's facts. It's facts. You buy some of them got a little bit better. Like Ford as an example. They got a little bit better over the years.
Ford got a lot better.
Even Kia, I would take a Kia over Ford any day because it's reliable and it's even cheaper. And this is like some Wamba Pombi car at the end of the day. The fact
Coming from the guy who drives a Jaguar and a Range Rover.
At the end of the day, because I support.
Who makes Land Rover?
What?
Who makes Land Rover?
Well, it's Tata right now. First, Ford took it over and started managing it about 12 years ago. They took it over and they started managing. And guess what? Every time these cars have started failing, and these are high quality cars, Range Rover and so on, when Ford took over. When Ford released it and Tata took it over, what happened to those cars? They become stable.
I agree with you. Toyotas are more reliable and more affordable. More reliable, which is very important. What I'm saying is that we don't need it because we have
I see the point
cars manufacturers in the US. Cars are being manufactured in the US. So we don't need it. It's not like Jamaica. They don't make cars in Jamaica. There's no car manufacturers in Jamaica.
But I'm saying if the manufacturers
like
making
Cuba,
poorly cars. Right?
It's like Cuba. Cuba don't really have Cuba keep the old cars that they have and they circulate them.
The point what I'm bringing, if we make in cars that are poor, how long you think us as consumers are going to? We're gonna stop buying cars. We're gonna probably go into because the cars, if the manufacturer is not producing,
Mike, you're not gonna have the choice. You're not
gonna have the, but you're gonna find some alternative.
Which is what?
I don't know. Maybe moped or motorcycles or something. At the end of the day,
you are gonna figure it out.
I probably started walking. Who knows? Or just started taking public transportation.
I'll go back to donkey card.
So I'm gonna put in what 5,000 every 2 months into a car. What's the point? And then this is the problem because most of these cars you buy them brand new, Ford, GMC, and these are the local cars. You buy them for after 10 or 15,000 miles. You have so much major problem with them. I passed through these cars before. And the fact that even today's day, I was talking to a friend of mine when he said he was looking for a car. And I said, he kind of struggling and whatever the case may be. I said, you can get a nice little, the Fords I got, but he said, Mike, I'm not getting those cars. I'd rather go get me a 1999 Toyota or Nissan or a Camry.
Yeah, but that is just his opinion because he has the option now, Mike.
The thing is that because he loves Fords.
Mike,
from he was going from every day one.
Mike,
he always having problem with them.
Because the people you're not getting the point.
Because the people have so many options.
Right? No, but that's what I'm piggybacking on. When you have no options, right?
No
options.
The
cars, the manufacturer are building these cars, and they're okay. So we don't have no other options than to buy a Ford. That's what I'm getting at. So now, if Ford is making poorly cars, you still gonna sit there and dump in $5,000 or $10,000 into a car every 2 months?
No, but Mike, if that's the case,
and that's the point what I'm making.
Mike,
I get your point long time ago, but I'm saying if you're forcing me to buy something where I cannot.
After 5 years, every car start giving trouble.
No, that's a lie. That's a lie.
Mike, the government will then have to come in and say.
Well, until then.
Understand, but what we're saying is that me personally think with all. What I would say, okay, if China decides to withdraw his tariffs from America, I think the economy will go. The economy will collapse, right? For
no
one,
doubt,
because how it's structured right now, whereas it's not structured to self-maintain, because we dependent on so much things from China in terms of technology. Transportation,
guys keep
food.
Saying we have the best technology here in America.
We can't have the best technology here in America.
Yo, I swear
when you go around, Mike, you have to use You talk about
technology.
You have to understand, you know. Hold on, Mike. We have to understand. All right.
NVIDIA GPUs.
Hold on, no?
What?
GPUs.
GPU.
Hold on, Mike.
Who made GPU?
NVIDIA.
What about Intel?
What about Intel?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Intel is not doing well right now, but
Intel
NVIDIA is the number one.
You know why
chip.
You know why NVIDIA came in the picture about 6 months ago, or
What are you talking about? 6 months.
Listen, NVIDIA is a video graphic manufacturer.
It's new,
right?
but not 6 months ago.
No, I'm saying why they come on the market fully, like everybody's recognizing.
Yeah,
them.
but it's not 6 months ago.
And okay, let me give you a history. NVIDIA came out about 10 years ago, correct?
No, longer than that.
Do your research, because me love send you facts, you know, because do your research. You have a laptop right there in front of you. Anyway, 10 to about 12 years minimum, right? Now, for them came on the market to be recognized like Intel. Intel been around there for like 1,000 years, right? I'm exaggerating, but that means it's a long time they've been around there.
From Jesus to what here.
Yeah. So now the thing is, NVIDIA, they started going into the more reliable and more cheaper.
It's up for this keyboard now.
It's not working.
Continue.
Yeah. They started going into a structure where they started making their video graphic cards a little bit more cheaper than
more
Intel.
affordable.
And because Intel is one of those Bentleys,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when it comes to processors and then when it comes to GPUs and system and stuff like that. So NVIDIA now came out and they started, just like when you have Kia and all these cars, they come out in the market.
1993.
19 what?
1993.
That's what it says?
Yeah.
Okay. I run with that for now.
Yo, we don't want to cheer for the pipe, but when Mike, we really get to understand, because you see, as what I say, Mike, understand what I say. It will collapse because how the system is set up right now. But if you, as a government, train the people, right, and teach the people, say, okay, we're going to self-reliance. We're going to teach you guys how to whereas you grow your food, same food where we are grow, we are selling at the market, and it circulate right around America. It can work.
But let him answer the question. What do we really need from China?
We don't really need nothing.
We need practical.
China mass produce things. We get that for a cheaper price, right? Mm-hmm. For the cheap labor in China, that's how they're able to produce stuff at like high volume for lower cost. We get that. Here in America, you're going to have to pay people more. I get that. But we're able to manufacture anything that China manufacture.
No, I wouldn't say that.
What? Wait.
What?
With this day and age, I don't think.
Give me a specific product.
I don't think
that we're not able to produce.
A specific product.
Yes.
Phones.
Yes.
That's number one.
Phones?
Yes, we cannot produce phones.
Why not?
Why you think? We
don't think we can produce.
No,
phones.
we can't. We're not reaching the stage yet. We don't reach the stage of.
We can't produce phones because most of the time the motherboard is made here in America.
What motherboard?
I think the motherboard is here.
Crazy.
The motherboard is
what
made
you're
here.
walking with? What you have? iPhone?
Yeah.
That's a literal Samsung. What you have? iPhone? Same thing you're walking.
No.
What? Android?
Yeah.
Okay, so that you're fully a Samsung.
We get that these
point
stuff are produced in all right, so the raw material come from wherever it comes from. It goes to China and they create the hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're mostly in charge of the software. So the company is in charge of the software, like Apple.
Yeah.
They're in charge of the software. China produce the hardware. I get that, but we're able to produce the hardware also. All we have to do is get the raw material here and create the hardware.
And where's the raw material coming from?
I mean, anywhere it comes from. What do they use to?
We don't have those type of raw material to produce here in the U.S.
They don't have it in China. They import it.
Where they have it, then where you think it's coming from?
Anywhere it comes from, Africa, Africa.
Some of it is imported.
Most of it.
Everything what the U.S. or I wouldn't say everything. Let me revise it. Most of the stuff what the U.S. produce and call their own doesn't belong here.
Just like China.
China produce their own stuff and everything.
Like what? Like what?
Everything.
We're talking about the raw material.
Yes, they produce aluminum.
What do they use? Bauxite.
In
Jamaica.
But you know, back in the days.
Oh, they don't even bring about Jamaica.
No, bauxite. What do they use bauxite to do?
Bauxite, they use the
to make
bauxite, which is
planes?
the soil, right? Where they use that to make a lot of materials. They can use it to make plastic. They can use it to make aluminum. There's a lot of things they can use it to make. I didn't even want to go there because Jamaica, the dumbness when it comes to the government, where they have the U.S. came in and bought out penny a ton and sold out our damn country at the end of the day. But these are you know what? I don't want to even go there because every time I talk about
what I'm saying is that the raw material doesn't come from China. It comes.
Where it comes from then? The only time China would import raw material is come from Russia, which is their ally, and then Australia, where they bring what they call it, where they in Captain America, the steel where they use to make his shield. It's just one of the strongest steel on the planet. Okay, when they come back, it comes from Australia, right? That's the only.
But what Mike is saying that America can sustain itself because back in the days people used to do it. It can
sustain itself to a certain extent.
It
will fall eventually.
Yeah, it's going to fall eventually because the population is so big, right? So the demand won't be met. But at the same time, if you are structuring the country to meet the demand, it's going to be able to keep up with that because it will be able to produce.
But you can't. That's the point.
So according to Google, it says China primarily source the raw materials for phone products from various countries around the world, including Australia, Chile, Argentina, and other countries. So no, it doesn't. The raw material doesn't come from China.
Wait, the phones what we're talking about, that's.
I mean, any phone.
Yeah, but
any phone.
This phone where we all know about. That's like, for instance, you know who makes Samsung?
Who makes it?
What country makes Samsung, or where the company reside in?
You're not getting what I'm saying.
What you get? Wait.
So they manufacture these things, right? For example, rubber, where they used to make tires. Rubbers come from the forest of Congo. Like the Congo, they have trees that they cut, and it drains the raw materials to make rubber. Right. So it's the same. Like the raw material they use to make phone comes from like Australia, Chile, Argentina, and the Congo.
I agree. There are places where as much as China, the entire world mostly rely on China because of the type of stuff what they produce. They still need outside resources, right?
Yeah, but
what we are focusing on is the self-independence.
Yes,
America cannot last if it goes on a self-independence level. It will last to a certain extent and then it collapse.
What Michael is saying is that if you get the system on a level and you start to teach the people that this is what we're aiming at and this we're going forward. One of the things why you have certain countries that are like Singapore, Cuba, and those countries. Why do you think they're like that? Especially Cuba. Why do you think Cuba is self-reliance like that? Whereas they don't really take that much from outsiders.
If they take anything at all.
Because they are trained the people over the years. Like, okay, this is the type of system we have. This is how we're gonna work. This is how we're gonna operate. America is big enough. America has 50 states, Mike. And if you would decide, say, okay, we are going to increase our factories, right? And then we're going to increase our production, right? And we are going to get the technology right. Spend the time. Pay the necessary people. Take some of that same money from the US aid and put into factories.
Boy,
I think so we're spending too much time on
that. Sounds good. Guess what? That's not reality.
It can't be. The system,
that's not reality.
The system is not structured.
That's not actuality.
So the president, right, Donald Trump, He said one of the reasons why he placed such a hefty fee on Mexico is to stop the drug the drug
drugs.
Importation
And
or
the
importation
drug
of
deal
drugs.
and criminals.
Right. And Mexico president responded by saying she's gonna send troops, like troops to the border
This
to
was already
also
in
help
place.
with that.
This is the nonsense. People, do study for yourself, because sometimes these governments are manipulate society. This plan with Canada and Mexico, this was implemented in December. Trump came out and make it seem like it's coming from his administration, that he is the one who implemented and pushing these tariffs on these countries.
From when?
From December of last year. If you go back to your
I
history.
mean, December was like what? A month ago?
This is 2 months ago, right? So again,
We just started February.
my peoples is what
2
you
months
use.
ago.
My peoples are these is reach out to them and say, listen, we need to control certain things that's going on here.
Who
In
are
Canada,
your people?
You say the Democrats are my people. So again, you said the Democrats the Democrats them reach out.
Stop the nonsense, Mike. These people just open the border and let in what? Like 40 million people.
I am not disagreeing with some foolishness what they do.
So what are you talking?
But at the same time, I'm not gonna bash down and say because they do foolishness that they don't do other stuff where they don't do right stuff as well. For instance, again,
Listen, I'm not saying they're wrong to let in the people. I don't agree or disagree with it. Right? So
he don't have no structure, Is either in the river on the bank,
no, so you have to understand, America is the greatest country on earth. In my opinion, personal opinion.
Even though I'm living here, it was the greatest country.
My personal opinion, everyone wants to come to America, right? So I have no issue with the government opening the border to let people in from everywhere.
I was listening to you.
No, but hold on. We're having a serious conversation. So it's in the media. They make it seem like Donald Trump is the one who's implementing these new strategies or new
policies and stuff like that.
Policies, right? Or what do you call it? The order. These executive orders, right? So DOGE, right? The Department of Government Efficiency said that USAID budget is $45 billion per year.
Mm-hmm.
So out of that $45 billion, all these stuff that I mentioned that they use the money for is, let's say, what do you think the government should? You think the government should provide loans for people who's trying to do like a sex change?
No.
I said that's what the money is being used for.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing again too,
I mean, if you want to do a sex change, you can use your own funds to do that. So I don't think the government should.
Taxpayers should pay.
Right.
Hold on. Trump create this new body of government, right? So he created this new body of government to cut down on the spending.
Spending, right.
So when they cut down on the spending, is it a case where this new body of government is going to create stuff that say, okay, then we're not going to
spend on this.
We're not going to spend on this, so we're going to increase in this area.
Yes. You know where it's needed, where it's important.
You know where they're going to increase? Look, that's exactly where they're going to increase it.
If this money is going to be, if they're going to say,
remember, you're talking about the richest man in the world.
One of the richest men in the world.
The richest man.
One of the richest man in the world. Okay, you know what? You like to get facts.
Who's richer than Elon Musk?
I told her this guy in Dubai. I can't remember, and every time
you can't even remember.
I don't remember because his name is hard to pronounce.
Mansa Musa.
Ask Google.
Yeah. So you agree? You don't think the government fund should be wasted?
No, I don't. I don't.
As I said, I have no problem with people who want to do a sex change, right? But use your own funds to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, nobody not stop you. But don't rely on the taxpayer.
Matter of fact, I do have a problem with it, but you know,
don't rely
personal.
on the taxpayer. It's just like females or even females, they go get their BBL. So might as well the government support that too, right? It is the same thing. So I mean, don't get me wrong. If this is what you want to do with your body, nobody can stop it. But don't rely on your money, my money, your money, and the other people's tax money to get that done. That is under. You have people who are suffering, can't find the next 10 cents, can't find the next bread to put on the table to feed their two kids.
So that's what the department is saying. They're scrutinizing the budget, right? So they're doing
what assurance do we as a people have to say, okay, then when they cut these ties,
and guess who is cutting it?
No, but
where the money?
The president is telling you, he wants to enrich
himself
Americans.
And his people.
Mm-hmm.
Himself and his people, he want to enrich.
I mean, that's your personal opinion, but. He's saying that he wants to enrich Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying stop spending money and stuff like paying for people in
sex exchange and all those
in the army and in the prisons to do a sex change, right? And use that money and put it in the U.S. Treasury, cut back on tax. Or eliminate tax so people could have more money in their pocket and spend the money on something that's more.
But you know what the tax?
Yeah, if that's the case, it's gotta make sense, because if you cut back on the tax, then you cut back on your spending. That means the U.S. Treasury will have more money to spend, and will pay less taxes.
Who they gonna spend it on?
But is that case where when they start doing this stuff, we have to see where we're going to save on our taxes?
Yeah. So we have to see that first.
We have to see where we're gonna save on our taxes.
Remember, Mike, all these spending on these nonsense thing. These were the Democrats. The Democrats were doing this.
I sit
because
here.
If you're sending how many millions of dollars every month to Colombia for what do you call it? Transgender opera. What is that really?
Mike,
what is that?
I'm 100% with you.
You're not.
No,
You're
I'm saying I'm 100% with you with those foolishness, what they were doing. I don't support a lot of these stuff, what I discovered, what the Democrats, what my people was doing. I don't support it at the end of the day. But it doesn't mean...
Trump is saying, let's aid America before we aid the world.
And if that's the case, yes, I agree with him. I agree with him.
You agree?
Yes, I agree. But how many times I sit here?
So he's your boy now?
No, he's not my boy still, but I agree with him. I agree with the certain principles he come off with, even though it's not much. It's so much like this. You could, but at the same time, as a man, we're trying to follow principle. As a person, as I try to follow, it doesn't mean that I follow it all the time. But as a person, that what I strive to be, to follow principles, protocols, morals, yada, whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna weigh it as a balance where if I don't agree with what you're doing, not because you're my boy, I'm going to tell you that I don't agree with what you're doing. If you are doing something and I agree, I'm going to tell you as my boy that I agree with what you're doing. So it's the same principle. I don't like what most of these guys were doing. Matter of fact, I want them to get rid of Biden from day one. Day one meaning, let me rephrase that. I want them to get rid of Biden when the Ukraine business came in place. Because what they were doing was foolishness. You have people here struggling. And again, I like helping people, and I'm not saying that the U.S., which is one of the things I like with the U.S., they love help, but their priority is screw up.
Yeah, but help people here, like help police officers, help army veterans.
Yes, help the suffering, help the poor, help the weak, help the liberal. You stop going over
the homeless. Yeah, so that's what the president is saying. That's what the president is saying, you know.
I think that comes with America trying to police the world, you know.
And all right.
That is another thing. And
President Donald Trump agenda is America for Americans. That's his message, right?
Mm-hmm.
focus on America. Let's make America great again. That's the logo.
Yeah.
So if America wasn't, you say it is the number one. What was it? The statement was.
I mean, that's the president's.
Country, right. But why you want to make America great again if it's still great?
My opinion and the president's opinion is different.
But that's your boy. Yeah? That's your boy. You're supposed to coincide.
But no,
you're
that
supposed
doesn't
to
mean
coincide with your boy.
But you're my boy. Do we agree on everything?
No.
All right.
But you don't paint that picture.
Huh?
You don't paint that picture. You like those guys out there like this lady says, no matter what Trump do, she could have shoot me in my head. I still love him. This is from her own words. This is how you sometimes look like you operate. Like no matter what this boy do, you agree with him.
I understand what they're doing. 'Cause America is a business, you know. And Trump is a businessman.
And this is the wrong deal to
Elon is a businessman also.
Right. It's the wrong deal to put businessman in leadership like this.
What do you mean?
It's wrong
you can't be good for your people, Mike.
Exactly.
Why not?
You can't. And this is the whole concept of it. People think because, I'm a businessman or this is a businessman, he's going to lead the country. No, that's not it going because you're going to, when a businessman go to
have to be a leader. You have to be a leader. You can't be a businessman.
When a businessman going to lead a country, right? The problem what he's going to have is that he's going to subject himself for himself. He's going to put the country in a structure where he's thinking about how to make the next dollar for his company. That mentality is going to revolve around how he leads the country. So if him going to say, listen, let's cut back on this and cut back on that. And that's the same thing what Bernie Sanders is talking about. And the same thing Bernie was talking about.
So you want to hear something funny?
Let's hear that.
So according to Doge findings, USAID found out that most of the funds that were being sent to aid countries such as Ukraine did not get to Ukraine.
That was expected.
And it ended up in a lot of politicians' pocket.
That's expected.
So that's where those cuts, when they made those cuts.
No, I mean, who was sending billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine? Who was doing that?
My people's sadly to say.
So there you go. So when you keep saying,
but that is expected. But that's what I'm saying to you now, Mike.
What do you expect?
That's why.
This was happening before Biden, before Trump.
Hold on, Mike. Let me make that point here. Can you see that point here?
The point I got hit him.
That's the thing where I'm saying, what me I said earlier. When you have people like Elon Musk, Jeff, Mark Zuckerberg, all of those people donate and give all that money to Trump. Mm-hmm. You think they're just going to give it to him just like that?
No, they're going to benefit from it. They know
what their returns are.
I agree.
And their returns are not for the people.
They're going to benefit from it. I understand that and I agree. But I think it's just like Jamaica, you know. Mm-hmm. When the IMF loaned Jamaica some funds and the IMF said, okay, you need to cut back on this, cut back on that, and cut back on this. They created a group, right? Or a department, a new government department, and they monitored the government spending. And who headed that department? Who was the head of it? Michael Lee Chin, right? So when I see something like that, I have confidence in that department saying that, okay, they're going to budget the government spending properly because this guy has a track record of running successful business. Mm-hmm. So I'm confident in him doing that. So Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these guys, they're successful business people. Like they run some of the biggest business.
Yeah, but not because they're successful does not make them good leaders.
And that's the problem.
I agree to disagree though.
All right.
What disqualifies Elon?
All right, let me make a perfect example now. How much people we know in the restaurant business, right? They're not.
That's different. We're talking about.
But it go back to the same thing.
We're talking about mega tech companies. We're talking about
look on Bill Gates.
He's a good CEO.
How? Because Bill Gates didn't create. Bill Gates stole that technology.
So let me ask you a question.
I mean, IBM and Microsoft work hand in hand.
Let me ask you this
but
question.
This does not mean because you're a good businessman does not mean you're a good leader.
I'm going to pick it back off.
A leader is different from business.
Microsoft.
Because you making money does not mean that you're going to think of the well-being of the people.
Microsoft, would you put Bill Gates as a leader for this country?
Me?
Yes. Let's say you have the power, and you say, okay, you have Bill Gates as one of the option. Or let's say Bill Gates is the option.
I would put Jamie Dimon.
No. Would you put Bill Gates? He's a good businessman, right?
I'll put Elon Musk too.
He's a good businessman. But would you put Bill Gates as a leader? I'm emphasizing and I'm pushing for that for one particular reason.
No, so why Bill Gates?
That's what I'm asking you.
Would
you push him? He's a businessman.
I have personal opinion where Bill Gates
so
is.
So you're saying you wouldn't put him?
No. For Bill Gates, no.
Why you wouldn't put him? He's a good business leader, isn't he?
For person. So things I don't want to say online because when you say stuff on YouTube,
if it's public, you can't
leaves,
say it.
No, it leaves a digital footprint. I don't want to say.
But that's what I'm saying to you.
And it has to do with all these genetically modified food
that's the same
and
thing.
But that's the point.
No, but Elon is always the same.
I'm saying
because we're yet to see it. We are yet to see it yet, Mike.
This is not hidden. So don't.
But the politicians aren't doing a better job though.
No, but that's what I'm saying, Mike. We can't say because Elon has made how much millions, that means he's gonna be a good leader because
it doesn't have anything to do with how much money he made. We're talking about the businesses that he runs.
Yeah, but it does not make him a good leader for the people. Look, he can run the business, whereas he can run the business and it makes money. But it's different when you're leading people.
Who would you want to run the country? Who would you see as an ideal leader for America?
Right now, with what Bernie's saying, I would say Bernie.
I would put Bernie in this structure, and I would put Obama went out already. I would put what's the name?
If you could put Obama back,
I would put him back again.
Why?
Obama
he's a good speaker.
No, he can articulate himself very well. He's very educated and but again, Obama, one of the things I didn't like with Obama because he made promises to the people, and all politicians do, right?
That's what politicians do.
And that's what they do. His problem is where we were going to benefit as consumers and as the public, where if he had pulled back these soldiers when he went in, because the war was putting a cramp on society here, financially, when they went to war with Iraq and claimed that these guys, what's the name, Saddam, hit the towers. I'm not gonna get into that, but at the same time they went to war. Please don't. Yeah, they went to war with it because it's still a mystery in certain things. They went to war, right? And they did what they have to do. They clean up what they have to clean up. But they still have the war running for how long? 10, 15 years. For what?
I mean,
and start people would
say that's an invasion, it wasn't really a...
Yeah, but
right.
That's what it goes back to. It goes back to America trying to police the world.
Yeah, but President Trump does not want to do that anymore. He doesn't believe in that.
He shouldn't be because
in his first term he didn't believe in that. I know.
But he had the power to do anything in his first term. Why all of a sudden now he turned Christian now?
What do you mean do anything?
The first thing what I'd mentioned before, when you have Canada, you have Mexico. When they were doing free trade, he never attacked them. He was Russian and China.
No, this is way before President Trump.
But we are talking when I can't. If I go beyond him, it's gonna be irrelevant. I'm talking about with him in power when he came in 2016, and right now where he's using these tools and these power where he's trying to use, because Canada went. Reason why he's attacking this Canada and China and Mexico, because they're not siding with his principles or his policy, what he's putting in place. They're not agreeing with it. So his agenda, they're not siding with it. And because of that, Trump only picks people and run with people who is gonna kiss up and hug up. That's how he picks them. He doesn't pick them based on quality. He doesn't pick them based on leadership skill. He doesn't pick them. He picked them because if you're going to do foolishness, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm going to say, yes,
so you don't think Elon have good leadership qualities?
Where? That arrogant, egotistic, God have mercy. There's no way on this planet, if I have the power, would I put Elon Musk in power? There's no way. That boy is so arrogant, self-centered, conceited. You see, what do we think he bought a Twitter for?
Why?
When he bought out Twitter, what do you think he did?
To create a platform to have free speech.
Freedom of speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what was the thing? Because Twitter and these other the owners, because they would not allowing them to say anything what they want to say. There's government. There's governed things.
Censorship.
Yes. If we allow everyone, even though they claim that is that the which amendment is that? We'll come back to it. If we allow everyone, we use this freedom of speech, right? If we allow everyone in the U.S. or in the worldwide, if to say certain things, what do you think? How you think?
Certain things like what?
Certain things. There's certain things you basically, because freedom of speech meaning that you can say anything to anyone to anyhow and say certain things, right? For instance,
people do.
Yeah, people do, but there are certain things where you have to be censored, and there's not certain.
Like what?
If I go and I spread propaganda on the internet, right, and it's propaganda, you take this and run with it without verifying it. These are the things of what I'm talking
about. Example.
What do you mean example?
Yeah, like
I just use the term propaganda. Anything is propaganda once it's not factual. Or let's say.
Yeah, but who decide if it's true or false? Or wrong
the
or
person who fact check them. Like for instance, Twitter was doing this because you come and you create these.
Check this out, Mike. Right? Check this out. If I'm looking at your shirt and I see yellow, right? So you see blue and you see black. Who's wrong and who's right?
Who's wrong and who's right?
Yeah.
The person who can see the true colors. Now, if you seen black and Soji seen yellow, and I know that what you see is black,
right?
Who you think is wrong?
Right and wrong is whatever you decide it is.
No.
And good and bad is whatever you decide it is.
That's not how it goes. If that was the case, that means everything, me taking up this, or what scenario I can use, me going robbing somebody, I can see that as right. You can't tell me crap that is not right.
I'm listening.
So again, using your own scenario that it determines.
What would be your reason though?
What would be my reason?
Yeah. So this guy, right, back in 2016, I think, or 2007, this guy bought 2 boxes of pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin.
Who that?
I remember. I don't know.
Yeah, so this guy bought 2 boxes of pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin. Today, those boxes of pizza would be worth $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Was it wrong or foolish of him to do that that time?
To buy what? What was it?
2 boxes of pizza.
2 pots of pizza, and he spent what?
For 10,000 Bitcoin.
So, is there something wrong with that?
There's something wrong with that?
It's money, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it wasn't worth $1 billion then, you know. It was worth like less than a penny, maybe a penny.
Mm. So he spent his own money and buy all of these stuff, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying that is it wrong or is it right?
Yeah. Is he foolish for doing that?
I wouldn't know. I mean, whatever this guy can business wise or proceed in the future based on him making a decision now of buying certain things or investing in certain things, I can't say that's wrong or that's right. I mean, it could be poor investment. It could be poor decision he made at the time. Is it wrong, right? I mean, eventually, if it turned against him, more likely it would be wrong, not from a lawful level, but wrong from a business level.
Mm-hmm.
That, well, you make a bad deal. You make a bad decision there. So at the end of the day, that you're going to create some type of suffering for yourself later on in the future.
Yeah, so it was, correction, it was in 2010. At that time, it was worth $41.
Mm-hmm.
Today it's worth $1 billion.
So that was probably a wide, we say not a wide, a wise decision he made. I mean, it was, how you can say, that he had a snapshot of the future.
Oh.
But you said now it worth, he bought it at what? At 10 cents or whatever the case may be?
He had 10,000 Bitcoin in his crypto wallet.
Right.
And he needed 2 boxes of pizza. And he put it on the internet or social media and said, I'll give anyone 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 boxes of pizza. And Shane said, okay, I'll take you up on your offer.
Mm-hmm.
And you transfer the Bitcoins to Shane. Shane bought the pizza. Matter of fact, Shane bought the pizza first, had it delivered to you. And you said, okay, an agreement is an agreement.
And you sent him his
You
Bitcoin.
transfer it to. This is a real story. You know,
Okay.
this actually happened. If you go on YouTube or any social media platform,
So
you
you
could
sent him
Google
his
it. And,
Bitcoin.
yeah. And today it's worth $1 billion.
His Bitcoin, sold to Bitcoin.
Yes.
So the point that you're making is what? Did he make a wrong decision?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like
No, what do you think? Your opinion.
what I think?
Yeah.
I mean,
So is it a case where he's trying to get it back?
Yes. No. I mean,
I don't
it's
think
an
he's
agreement.
I don't think he's trying to get. He was saying that did he make a poor decision? Yes, no. I mean, it's a ticklish situation where
It's whatever he decides it is.
So
At the
he's
time,
trying
yeah.
to know what he's trying. Mike is trying to do. He's trying to use that to say,
No, what I'm saying is that if you decided to go and rob a bank, right? What's your reason?
what's my reason to rob bank?
His reason is that he was hungry.
Right, but doesn't mean that because whatever reason I create or to justify me going breaking the law doesn't mean that I am right in that context, right? So if I said, you know what, I'm gonna kill Mike. Why are you gonna kill Mike? Because Mike robbed me 5 years ago. He robbed me 5 years ago and stuff like that. That's your justification. No, I wind up and going doing it. I'm going to jail. No matter what I can tell these people.
Yes, but you don't get it. My point is, right, if you're hungry and you have a shoe, you have a shoe, right? You're following?
Mm-hmm.
You have a shoe and you use that shoe to hold up a bank to get money to buy food to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Is it wrong or is it right?
It's wrong. You're not supposed to rob the bank. You're not supposed to steal. Let's even go a little bit deeper. That's stealing.
What do you think?
Boy, everybody have to do what they have to do, you know.
Survival, right?
Survival of the
It
game.
is
You know?
how to-
So you
This is
guys
how
are
this is
sitting
how we
here
survive.
that because you hungry,
Remember,
Right.
you have to eat to stay alive.
yes, you have to eat to stay alive. And,
Right.
I said you have different options.
So is it foolish of you to not do what you're supposed to do, to eat?
If I'm hungry, if I'm hungry and I'm starving and I need to get some type of financial and there's no way to get it done to rob the bank at the end of the day.
I wouldn't recommend robbing a bank.
No,
I would
well-
say go
what?
ask someone for something to
But
eat.
we are
And if
going
that
with this-
doesn't work, you go into a supermarket and eat, you know?
We are okay, so we are putting on this thing because making poor decision and breaking the law is two different things, right? So we have to, based on your statement that if I decide to throw this at soldier and knock him in his head, that I am right based on how I view it, right? That's what you're saying. So me no going robbing a bank or killing someone
No,
or stealing
what I'm saying
someone.
is that good and bad and wrong and right is whatever you decided.
No, that's what I'm saying, and that's
Right.
where I know
So
you're
we're gonna
going.
agree to disagree.
So if, again, is it right to kill? Is it right to steal?
all right.
Of course. So if you're going to try to kill him, you're not going to kill him.
What?
no, listen, you guys gonna stay unalive.
Unalive?
Yeah. For you,
For what?
That's the
You-
new word for.
Listen,
No, for real. You definitely get back for that. For real.
Anyway, moving right along because the thing
I
is,
shoot. That one are the truth, you know.
the thing is, you have which last week, not last week or the week before, we have a show.
So
what's govern this country.
Let's not stray. We could have that for like a different topic, a different conversation for a different.
Kind of coincide with what we're talking about, but
so we're talking about the current administration and the new government department, which is DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, and they're basically in charge of the government budgets, right? So they started at like a zero budget to see, okay, where the money is going, who's getting it, and why are they getting it. And you're agreeing with it, or you dis?
Well, the stuff where they're doing with it, no, hell no. I'm not agreeing with the foolishness what Biden them was doing, and then Trump is trying to dismantle it based on what. No, I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not agreeing with it.
USAID, right?
Huh?
USAID?
Yes, USAID. I mean, this is where, again, from day one.
So what do you think they should do with the money?
Invested in the public.
$45 billion.
Invested here. You have people out there. You see how the weather is now. It's snowing right now. You know, at the end of the day. You have people out there now in that snow is trying to fall asleep or trying to find somewhere to hide that. The market, the housing market and industry, which created a collapse in 2008, they had seen this before, and they should have used this as an example to cater towards the people here that's suffering, that's in poverty, that cannot find. Every year they come out with these statistics. Oh, we have so much homelessness and stuff like that. But what are you doing? Now, if Trump and his allies and his team members are going to form or restructure the system where the money what they save there and there and there and put it back into the system where if Johnny out there can't find a place
we're back in the system. When you say back in the system, housing,
transportation,
the whole system.
I mean, we do have shelter for homeless people, you know.
Yeah, but it's not enough. You mean if you take all the people off the street and try to put them where it's not. You have 330.
Most people would go back to the street by choice.
How you mean they will go back to the street
by choice? Some people want to be homeless.
You know that going into the home the shelters is worse than you sitting on the street.
No, I did know that, and I don't want to know.
That's it, and that's why some people now where they go into the shelter and they don't want to go in there because it creates so much animosity, it creates so much violence for them. You have something, you're going there. People get raped. People get sometimes, which is not in the public, get murdered inside of there. Get raped inside of there. Get robbed. And some of them are better off living outside. No. And now the thing is that if the government now step in, if they save all that money, create a housing system, create housing for these people, and create a structure for these people to be beneficial, then yes. But if they're just gonna create the housing and just dump people without a structure in it, it doesn't make any sense. That's why you're gonna have people volunteer to go back outside in the street because it's not safe. They have to come up with a plan where if we're gonna take this money and we're gonna put it back into the inside of industry, we're gonna put it back in society. We have to also utilize those monies toward the places where they're fixing up housing and stuff like that, that the people also feel safe. The problem with this, people, is this. This is not going to change. It's not going to get any better. And it's sad to say, it's not going to get a better. Whether it's Trump coming or Obama coming next week or so forth, it's not going to get better. Now, it's going to be a deeper story. We'll pick up this some at a later time. But what we are facing right now, it's going to get worse when it comes to society and world society. It's going to get worse financially, economically, physically, everything. It's going to get worse. And some of you may be aware where I'm coming from. It's a spiritual base. But at the same time, when we look now on our political base, it's still going to get worse. And it's really sad.
People don't listen to him here. Things will get better. Don't listen to him.
He live on a rock, you know. Remember that. Most of the stuff what we talk about,
you will what you want. You will what you want. So a politician will make things better for you. What you have to do is do like Shane, leakless boss. You know?
Better for yourself.
Okay.
I am not discouraging you for you to have your stuff.
Anyway,
go
we're
and
gonna
try to do your stuff, but at
on
the same time,
on a positive note, we're gonna talk to someone who's actually doing it, and is not depending on handouts for the government or waiting for the government to have some, you know. So let's hear from Shane.
Basically,
What do you think they should do with the funds that they're spending on people doing sex change and sending money to create what you call it, LGBT comic book and all those.
Basically,
The
you know, the money have to just recirculate within the people. You know, see how they can set up better schooling. You know, restructure the education system, the transportation system, advance on the transportation system. You see, every now and again, people are get pushing at the subway. You know, all of that money can take into building barriers at the MTA tracks. Instead of people are pay how much money in the congestion zone, you know, cut out the congestion zone, you know, and save that money and use that money for build railings for the subways. You know what I'm saying? Improve on the roads. You know? Same thing what me I say. The housing, we need more housing. Come up with a better housing structure.
More affordable housing.
More affordable housing structure, better housing, better rates for the people. So we have to see where the money is going.
So that people positive, you know.
You know what I'm saying? They're taking the money from one place, but we have to see where it's going.
I can sit here and I can think, I am going to be well for the rest of my life. I'm not going to get sick. I am going to be wealthy. I can sit here and think all of that. That's positive. Realistically, would that happen? No.
It can.
I will get sick.
I
will get sick.
No, it can.
I will get sick. It doesn't mean that I may get sick of
you attract
dying.
what you will.
What?
You attract what you will.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about what. So if you're watching sports, right? That's what you're gonna see. You have to change the frequency or change the channel. You got to see what you want or will what you want.
I can see till God come. At the end of the day, being realistic again.
You're not being.
I can sit here and plan, and you know what? All things, all goodness is gonna happen to me, and I'm gonna speak it in beings. I will not get sick. I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna prosper. My family, my friends, everyone is gonna live a good life. Is that reality?
It can happen.
Shane, really, stop following is that reality? Come on, guys.
I am being realistic.
I am not saying that thinking positive is good practice. However, you have to create a balance. Being realistic. There is no way I am going to live on this planet.
Let me tell you what being realistic is, all right? Or what it looks like. Like, you keep telling me that you're a man of faith. And I said, go on top of the roof of your house and walk off. You won't do that, even though you're a man of faith and you're a strong believer, right? That's being realistic. But guess what? If you want wealth, you have to see yourself with wealth. You can't see things.
I'm seeing myself with wealth from my eyes. But what my mom said,
you could say that, but only you know that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that.
What decisions? What decisions?
What you're spewing
you
from?
Have wealth?
What you're spewing from between your lips?
Financial
right
wealth. Do we have financial wealth? Okay. Do you have financial wealth? Because I know you probably
do you have a number on that?
Whatever you consider as your financial.
I wouldn't consider myself wealthy.
Okay then. So what are you talking? Are you preaching in your mind and telling yourself that you're gonna be successful?
I get distracted also. You
see the big conflict again. You see, that's why I love talking.
No, I mean I do get, but check this out, right? I do practice this also.
What?
Yeah?
What you practice?
The law of attraction, and attract what you will.
But so you've been attracting this for the longest years, and you still
no. That's what. But I just discovered this, you know.
But you live it to change. You live it to change. My live it to change. because it comes with sacrifice, because I've made big sacrifices to change my lifestyle.
So you're saying what?
Yeah,
The law of attraction.
Mike, we're far from the worst. You know, we're far from being worse. Far from it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm coming at, right? With that law of attraction stuff, what I'm bringing up.
You have to see it and you have to want it, Mike.
I can see things and want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are realities in life. There are circumstances in life. There's government of power, of energy. As let me piggyback off your own word. Power of energy that comes and blocks certain things and opens certain things.
But you're a strong believer.
Okay, so
but
let me go back. Let me
tell
because he brought this up, and I want
Mike,
to
hold
address.
on, Mike. The law of attraction, you're there Jamaica. You have struggle. You beat around the bush. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You set yourself up to make the move. So you're there Jamaica. I use myself as a perfect example. I'm there Jamaica. I do liquor work. Never like the liquor work. Never see myself gone away in the liquor work. So I say, yo, what the next thing? What next? Is it that I'm gonna sit down here, I'm gonna complain?
Listen, you're not a tree. You're not a tree. You're not planted. You can move.
Yeah.
I am not. Go ahead. What you saying?
So they never like the work. I never like the position where I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
So my next move was, I'm gonna look this visa.
Mm-hmm.
Look this visa, get this visa, and I'm gonna come to America. Come America.
To better off yourself.
Better off myself.
Right.
With time, every year it's better and better. I see myself in a better position.
So
you keep making moves to put yourself in that position.
So you're telling me now, what you're saying is that, people, based on what Soji just said, there's nothing wrong after trying to enhance your lifestyle. There's nothing wrong of trying to make yourself better. Of course, every one of us around this planet possibly is trying to make themselves a better person, better individual.
Not everybody.
That's why I said mostly. Didn't hear what I said? Mostly people are trying to make themselves better. Some people are just in a structure where they don't want to make themselves better. They don't want to grow.
And not even that too. A lot of people
Is that you?
A lot of people get comfortable.
I always want to grow, but does it mean
But
that
you
I
don't.
will
You don't
grow?
speak that way though.
No, but that's because I live in reality and because I structure myself in a
reality is what you create though.
No, reality is what.
So check this out, right? Check this out. This phone. Where did the idea came from?
Came from somebody, right?
Where does it start?
It started from somewhere.
Or something
there
like that.
You go.
Okay, so what is it?
And then it becomes reality. So you have to create what you want within your mind.
Can you get up right now and go to space? Create it in your mind.
I don't want to go to space.
No, I'm saying create in your mind to get up from there.
I mean, that's what Elon is doing.
Elon is creating things to go. You sit right there because of your
But Mike,
power.
if you want to go to if Michael want to go to space, he's going to make moves to do that. He might say, okay, then I'm gonna get into this space with Elon Musk.
So this
you mean physically or mentally? Because I could go to space right now mentally.
So wait.
All right, let me go to space and come.
People, you see now the stuff what I have to do, right? You see the stuff what I have to do.
When you say space, guys, this is space.
We are talking about
space. You mean on a different planet?
How God can help me here. Help me.
I'm in a different space. no, I'm we're
okay. We are talking about the part of the galaxy, right? Galaxy which is above this atmosphere, which is above, out of our zone, out of our earthly living. Can I break it down anymore?
I understand what you're saying,
Mike,
but you do have people in space stations. You have.
I just said you
Mike,
can visualize it in your mind, and just like how you use the scenario that if I have faith, walk off.
That's
building.
not one of my desires though. But if I desire to go to space, you can pay a fee to do that.
We're not talking about you paying a fee. You imagine that, and then just like how you tell me, if I have faith, walk off that building. Because I was about to dress. I'm gonna dress that. The fact that the matter is that I have faith of trying to walk off. You see, God is not gonna condone foolishness. That's one.
Nobody come with the foolishness.
And then He started it because
we can move right along. Nobody make my company foolishness.
Anyway, I know you guys you want to sit there and talk about God this, but yet
me?
Yes,
I don't speak like that.
Listen.
What?
You ever hear me speak like that? I don't speak like that.
You never say God good, God never did.
I don't speak like that.
Okay, anyway, moving right
No, I wasn't 100%. So, on a serious note though, there's this book. It's called The Law of Attraction. I forgot who wrote the book, but check it out, guys. You know, it's interesting. I mean, until I read that book, or before I read that book, I did not attract everything that I wanted. When I read that book, you know, I changed the frequency. Change my mindset.
What do you mean by change of frequency? You're thinking?
Yes, that's what I mean. What's his name?
You have to change your frequency, Mike.
Squeeze. David Anarchy Squeeze. Thank you for that. You recommended that book.
But you have to change your frequency, Mike.
I'm not
I'm
not disputing it.
So what are you saying then?
I'm not disputing that you don't change your mentality, you don't change your thinking of if you want to succeed at certain things. Of course, if I'm at stage 1 and I'm thinking, well, I need to do this, and for me to get there, I can't think how I used to think or think on the level where I'm thinking because I'm not going to get where I want to go. If I'm thinking on the same page or the same thing, I'm not going to elevate to past that. So I have to change the frequency to go higher, to go wider and stuff like that. What I'm saying is that while I'm thinking along those frequency, these things, as I try to elevate and try to expand, these things will happen to me. As I change, as I elevate, as I grow, these things are going to happen. Just like as I sit here and says, you will not live the rest of your life without getting sick, even if it's just a simple cold. That's reality. I can put in my mind that, listen, I will live on this planet for the rest of my life without getting sick.
Let me ask you a question, Mike. You feel like, you think that there are people out there who have never gotten sick before?
There's no such thing.
But you don't know that, so don't say that.
You
remember, everyone doesn't ingest what you ingest. The part that we consume here is not the same.
Hold on. Fella, there are people out there who have never gotten sick before, Mike. Do your research. There are people out there who have never gotten sick before.
Mike, never. Mike, Surgeon. Okay, I just elaborate and let me reiterate.
Not even a cold they don't get.
People, you see, because of what we are, you see, I don't want to go that route, because it's gonna bring up a topic. We're done. Again, I don't want to go that route.
We're done.
We're gonna hope.
Moving right along.
This is the plan. We are going to have a specific session.
We're gonna have a debate.
A specific session for that particular topic, where all these things will come in place, and your favorite book will come in place.
What is that?
We're not talking about that right now.
What is my favorite book?
Your favorite book why you don't like.
What is that?
Is a joke.
What?
You said man write it.
Of course.
Some man write every book.
Yeah, and it's the same thing you said. You don't believe because man write it.
Guess
so
what?
the history book, what you read, no man write that.
Yeah.
But it's proven and tested.
What do you mean?
The history is proven and tested, and you have evidence.
Well, you were there?
No.
Okay then. So how you believe the book what man
I wasn't
write?
there, but because you can't.
How you can prove?
Mike, you can see it, Mike. You can see.
See what?
What do you mean by you can see it? You can see. You have evidence.
Marcus Garvey was a real person.
He was a real person. Did you see him?
Me personally?
Yes.
What am I telling?
Online and in photos. I see pictures of Marcus Garvey.
Did you see any photos?
Mike, remember, so there are people still alive who was alive when Marcus Garvey was alive. You know that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So same thing.
So
you had people who was alive in that time who carry on the message.
So
but when a man will come with a book and put a picture in there with one white man.
Let's go
and tell about.
Let's go. Number one, Jesus is not white. If you want to go there, Jesus is not white. So what you see,
I'm just saying.
Okay, so
I wasn't saying anything about Jesus. I was just saying.
We're strained. We stray off far off course.
I kind of lose train of thought because it still correlates with what I was.
We don't want to talk religious. The religious conversation is the next topic.
That's what we're gonna discuss about. That's why I said I did not want to go in there because it's gonna bring up stuff. But I did piggyback about based on.
We love piggyback so.
It based on our beliefs. Because if you read something in a book based on man write it, what's the point of believing? Because there's the same. You know what? Anyway, we will have that discussion. Anyway,
if there's one thing I know, that is I know nothing, right?
Yes.
Unless I could prove it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Based
the
on
law of
knowledge.
attraction, again, David Anarchy Squeeze. Thank you for that book. Thank you for recommending that book. The law of attraction teaches you that whatever you want, you can get. You know, it have to be in your mind. You have to create it in your mind. You have to see it. You have to see yourself with it. You have to will it, right? And I experiment with it. This is my personal experience. Mm-hmm. I experimented with it, and it worked for me. It really worked for me. My home, I will it, right? I attract it to myself. I always wanted a certain car, a certain foreign car. I attracted it, right? Mm-hmm. I saw the newer version, and I attract that.
You have the money to purchase it.
Yeah, but
that has nothing to do with that attraction.
You have to.
Mike, you have to put yourself in a position to make the money.
Yeah, but of course, yes, that's common sense.
No, but
if I want
Mike,
a Rolls Royce,
it's not gonna drop from sky.
Listen, if I want a Rolls Royce,
that's
and
not what I'm saying. It's not gonna fall from the sky.
No, but what I'm saying, if I want a Rolls Royce and I'm making $40,000 a year, you think I can buy that Rolls Royce realistically?
No,
but
okay,
guess what?
So I am going to govern myself in a position, looking at a good job or start an entrepreneurial business or whatever.
Yeah, yes,
elevate.
There you go.
There
you go.
I never dispute that.
But that's what the law of attraction is saying.
But I'm not.
You have to put yourself in position to make these moves, and it's not going to drop from sky.
Didn't I agree from day one when you mentioned it? Yes. What I'm not agreeing with is that the structure, how you guys put it, meaning that if I vision it, it has to happen. That is the structure I'm going by. It doesn't necessarily have to happen.
Not gonna
exactly.
Not
my
everything.
point.
Not everything with your vision, but at the
precisely.
same. But at the same time, Mike.
What?
Continue, man.
But at the same time,
I can't see.
You're blind.
You're blind, you know. Read it out if there's a post.
At the same time, I just desperate there, man. We just have to, you know.
Nah, serious thing though, Mike. It worked for me, no. I'm telling you, it worked for me.
Listen, I am not disputing that.
The first business I venture off into, right? I started with no money. It was like started with like $300. Mm-hmm. Didn't know what a LLC was. Didn't know what was a patent. I didn't know none of that. Started with $300. But guess what? I took the first step, and then the next step. Because remember, you know, if you're gonna start a juice business, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, what do you need? You need container. You need a chemist. You need a formula. You need a beverage. You're gonna need what do you call it? You're gonna need distributors, and you're gonna need consumers. You're gonna need all that, right? But all of that ain't gonna hit you at the same time, or isn't gonna hit you at the same time. But when you take the first step, then you're gonna think about the next step and the third step and the fourth step. And that's how it works, but it have to start within your mind. You have to say, okay, I want to be the biggest producer in New York or whatever, mm-hmm. right? All right. So where do you start? I want to be the best podcast producer in New York. Where do you start?
You have to
start.
You have to start from somewhere.
You
can't
go.
just sit there and think now, okay, you know what? I want to be a billionaire, but yet you sit do nothing. How is that going to work?
Yeah, so that's not what we're talking about. So you have to have the mindset though of wanting to be a billionaire. Then you do the math. How much do I need to be a billionaire? Where do I start? What vehicle or what avenue, or what platform, what business, what am I gonna do to get there? So when you start, then knowledge will increase and you will take the next step and the next step.
From the sweat of your brow, you shall eat bread.
I don't.
In
know
other
about
words,
that.
meaning that. In other words, it's biblical. In other words, it means that for you to eat, you have to work.
You know,
make the least amount.
No, brother. That me I tell you. Look for Elon Musk right now. What kind
he
of
had to start somewhere, right?
Yes,
exactly. He had to start somewhere. He had to make a sacrifice.
People who work the hardest make the least amount of money, and that's fact.
That is true.
You can't.
That is true. The people who work the hardest.
So what do you mean by the sweat of your brow?
Well, I'm meaning that you have to work to eat in sense of
what kind of work? Physical,
mental, whatever. You have to work. It's a structure where the Bible talks about for you to survive, you have to go out there and labor for yourself. That's what it's talking about.
But so what is laboring?
Labor meaning to provide. If you're going to dig up the dirt, you're going to go out there. You work. Ask soldier, can I work for you? And you give me this, I might. Can I sweep up the snow outside? And you give me $100. That's work. That's labor. You have to go out there and initiate that. It's not going to just fall in your lap, and God is not going to condone slackness or laziness.
We are talking about amount of money out there. We do slackness.
Yeah, but. Guys, sometimes I don't understand.
Complete history of the topic. All right,
guys.
All right, people. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up until next week. Next week conversation are gonna be powerful, Next week conversation are gonna be powerful.
Which is what's next week topic?
We're gonna talk about a bag of things. I'm gonna have, pastor.
Me, pastor? Me far from pastor.
I got Pastor Mike.
Deacon.
But you were the big time Christian.
Mm-hmm.
You were the big. Oh, you're back.
I'm not ashamed to say that.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
You was.
Yeah.
You're not this.
Nah, Rasta man.
But the song I was listening to earlier. It says, being a ballad doesn't mean that you are. Being a Rasta or a dreadlock doesn't mean that you are
a Rasta.
A Rasta. I can be a Rasta and I'm head.
Yeah,
I have nothing here already, but so our topic is what? We want to tell you religion next week.
Listen, you can't guys you love curry goat. You can't even go heaven because the only thing them serve is milk and honey.
Milk and honey.
And you don't like milk. You're lactose intolerant. I don't like too much sweets, right?
Until I don't like milk.
So how you gonna survive?
I drink my soy.
They don't have soy.
Almond.
They don't have soy milk. They don't have soy cows in.
Soy cows.
No.
They don't have that. They have streets of gold and they have honey and milk.
And honey and milk.
Right.
So I can survive that. It's
and your mansion is gonna be in heaven.
Yeah.
What did it say? Many mansions, one for you and one for I.
Mm-hmm.
But so you want a mansion right here on earth.
Yeah,
you can't have your mansion
myself
here too.
Also, I don't.
Right up on earth.
You still can't have your mansion
we know
here
about
too.
this
While you get your mansion. See, this is the temporary mansion.
We know
but
about this.
Getting our permanent mansion later on.
Yes,
we know about this right now, and this me I did right now.
You know about this?
Yeah, this me I did.
Well,
right
hopefully
now.
one of these days you guys will see the light and stand up for your right.
Amount of people when you see that they like there.
So again, what topic are we dealing with religion or are we dealing with something else? Or are we just
we're gonna surprise the guest.
Surprise the guest. Okay. People.
Until next time.
Thank you for joining us. This was an intriguing topic. Our political fears, and we see what's going on out there when it comes to ICE. When it comes
before we leave, let's touch. Yeah, so what do you think about the mass deportation that's taking place right now?
My 2 cents is this: anyone wanna come for growth, for success, for enhancement in their life, I don't see anything wrong with it. However, The problem is that they allow a looseness at the border where anyone could come in, and you and I here, or other citizens here, are struggling because the government priority again is screwed up, where they provide all types of source and housing, benefits and stuff like that. And I'm here paying my taxes, being contributing to this country for years upon years and upon years, and ask them for help, and they tell them to go kiss the next. Yeah, anyway. So the thing is, I don't support of the immigrants them coming here illegally. I rather they come here on a legal standpoint. I would support everyone who's trying to come here and make a living, because this is the country of promises and what Mike you said of success and such and such. Yes. Coming over, especially the criminals, and coming over here and creating problems for not just local citizens, but just for people in itself. It's not a good thing. And I would find that if the government or find a way...
So do you agree with mass deportation?
The ones that are creating troubles, yes. I would agree with it. But the ones that are trying to make a living and a good life.
Yeah, I mean, I have a problem. Because for right now, most of the people that are being deported are people with warrants, people who have been arrested before and stuff like that. So with what's going on right now with ICE, I don't have a problem, because most of those people, they not come here for make the change
to enhance society.
They come for elevate themselves. Them come for with a different mentality. You get what I'm saying? And the mentality they're not gonna make it better for we as a people. So if for them people are get deported, I don't see the problem. And those are the people I really think that are really getting deported. People who,
criminal records.
So, my advice to the people who not have them thing together is, try to keep it as low key as possible and sort out yourself. Make the right moves, heading in the direction of getting sorted out. You know what I'm saying? Stay away from people who have certain kind of reputation. Walk the straight and narrow path. You go at a bus station, you pay your fare, nobody jump the turnstile. All of them little stuff there. You go in at this tour, nobody going to go thief, nobody things. You buy what you want. And you keep it pushing and you try to sort out yourself. And I guess once you do that, you will be on the right path. But the people, you have some people where, them come. Everybody have to do what they have to do. But at some point in time, at what point do you say, okay, enough is enough? You have people who come here, especially we are talking about some of the Jamaican, them come here, and it's like, say, yo, them just come here. If you come here, see, and you wonder where them really
do the same thing we were doing back home, right?
Would he really, could I just stay home, man?
Right. Before you chime in, I want you to answer this question. With your boy trying to abandon...
I plead the fifth.
With your boy is trying to block, what they call it, birthright citizenship. So that means you come here, right? Your wife come here. You have a kid here. You may not born here, and your wife may not born here, but you guys build a life together here and plan to live here.
All right, so I understand what you're saying, right?
And you have a child here.
I don't know what's in that bill, so I would have to do my research and then get
That's
back
why
to
the judge blocked it. It was very simple. He's trying to demote that. He's trying to destroy that. Meaning that if you hear...
Mike is a very passionate guy when it comes to... No, but I like that though, because a lot of people say you're not into politics. Like, what are you into? We're growing up, and politics does affect us.
You can't avoid
politics. Do affect us, right?
Yeah, it's the day of life.
You're saying you're not into politics. You're into sports, cartoon. What are you into?
You have to be in politics.
Yeah,
Every day you're living into politics. It doesn't. Yeah, I hear that all the time, and it's just when I hear these things, I just walk away from the conversation because it's not making any sense. I used to be that arrogant at times. To be honest with you, I used to, but you cannot say you cannot, into politics. You are living politics every day of your life.
Correct.
You cannot avoid it. Yes, you may not want to participate at certain things inside it, but it doesn't mean that you can't. You're going to avoid politics. You can't. Anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know what's in the bill to answer your question, so I'm gonna have to do some research and get back to you.
I'll forward it to you.
Where mass deportation is concerned, they know who they're deporting, and that's that. I don't have anything to say about that. But to follow up on what Sheen said is that just keep yourself out of trouble and get yourself
acquainted with people who can help you, walk the straight and narrow path, stay out of trouble.
Right. I mean, nothing changes, except for clothing. That's it. Yes, people, thank you again for tuning in to our next episode of the Garage Podcast. Take us out, Mike.
Thank you again for tuning in. We'd like you to share, subscribe. Please, every day we're trying to upload contents for you to provide content and share with us. Send us email. It's thegaragestu@gmail.com. Share with us things where you would like to hear us discuss. Sometimes we look for topics that would also help you out, and we're trying to focus on things that is beneficial to society, that's important to society. We're not just sitting here trying to create things what we feel like. We want to talk about things what you are struggling for, what your education, religion, political, anything that can relationship, anything that can help you to become a better person. Would like you to share with us and call in. We have a number where you can call in when we have these discussions and chime in. Share your 2 cents. Say anything factual. If you hear some of us maybe chime in on certain things and you may have more evidence, you chime in as well. I would like you to participate. We want you to interact with us. But until next time, stay safe. Thank you for joining us. We hope to see you next week. And tune in with our newscast too. We have our news channel come up. We will also share with you, help you to keep in touch with society or what's going on out there. Pertaining to political, to crimes, pertaining to movements, pertaining to success. We will share those news with you as well as time goes by. Again, thank you.
News Desk.
Yeah, welcome to the News Desk. We have the Garage News Desk along with your host,
Michael
Porter. But again, stay tuned. Thank you for joining us again and share with us your view. And until next time, we out.
Thank you.
Thank you.